Hello everybody and welcome back to Forever and Ever, the Killie Fans Podcast. It's Season 4, Episode number 37, and we're coming to you live from Limelight Studios in Irvine. My name is Paul Montgomery and I'm joined in the studio as ever by my co-host and friend, Killie Chronicles' very own, Callum Michael Scott. Alright, Cal.
Thrilled to be here. I was just saying to you beforehand, I can only apologise if I end up sneezing or whatever. I don't know whether it's, I've had the cold for about a week, 10 days.
Right, rough a rundown.
Not even the night nurse is getting to the bottom of it.
No.
But I don't know whether at the work today, I mean, we're in spring now, the grass cutting started,
Right.
which is welcome, but I'm a sufferer of hay fever. So
I see.
whether that's an element of it as well, but I'm fighting it now.
Did I ever tell you about the time when Melanie had hay fever in Spain? And I went to the pharmacia to get her Piriton or whatever.
Yep.
So I'm like, what am I going to say in here to ask? You had to get the wee ticket. You stood in the queue. And I'm building up, right, what am I going to say here? Because obviously it's a Spanish pharmacy. So I get to the front. The guy shouts out my number. And I go, hi, my wife, she is sneezing. Achoo, achoo. Her eyes itch. The flowers, the pollen makes her feel achoo, achoo. Looking for medication to help her with this. Medication for her. It's an allergy to pollen. The guy goes, oh, it sounds like your wife has hay fever. I went, aye, hay fever.
Sensational, man.
Boozed up Brit abroad, mate.
Well, no, but at least you at least made an effort.
I
Whereas I think it's Matthew and Stevie that I always talk about when they're on Tenerife, and some English guy and his family came in, and then he just looks at the waiter and goes, "Oi, 4, mate, 4." Well, as in table of 4 for him and his family.
Right.
And not even, I don't know, Quattro,
like David Moyes.
Una mesa para cuatro.
Oh,
por favor.
Alright, man.
But that's a Kevin Bridge joke, but I go and be Spanish.
Right.
Can do a wee bit of Spanish.
Good.
And hence why I was correcting you in the Mal.
Aye, well, that's it, and I say mal now. Your Uncle Will, he'll ken plenty of Spanish.
Oh, aye, that's...
He'll need to really learn English a bit of times earlier.
He's fluent, man.
Aye, he is. Alright, everybody, so plenty to get through. We'll ditch the hay fever chat. Brilliant win at home to Livingston on Saturday. We'll talk about that. There's no game to preview this week because it's Scotland that are playing. We'll do your questions on the X and on the KillieFC.com forums. We've got a couple of messages in, a couple of things we want to talk about. And all roads lead to Killie,
Which you've done this week.
which I've done this week. So Scotland game this weekend, the new Scotland strip, you like it?
Oh, I love it.
It's beautiful, innit?
What's it? Is there no 2 different ones that have been released or something like that?
Right.
Price difference?
There'll be a tech fit player thing probably, and a fan version.
That's it.
Probably 75 quid and 120 quid or something.
Aye. Did I ever tell you about the worst depreciation ever in not even buying a car?
Right.
It was me treat myself to the Scotland tap at the Euro 2020.
Right,
which was,
okay.
of course, in 2021. Went and bought it before the Croatia game. Paid the 80 quid for it.
Right.
Obviously get put out that night. Day after, down to like
Was it the day after?
30 quid or something like that.
Well, I've seen that with the shop now. All the strips are away down on price because it's coming towards the end of the season.
Aye, that's
Grab
right.
yourself a bargain, everybody, and at the store. But so Saturday was a brilliant day. I had a wonderful day in general. Loved it, loved the weather, loved the football, loved all the people I met. I had a really nice time before the game in the Pyramid, chatting away to loads of good people. Mikey Kenmure bought me a pint. Oh, you won, Mikey. Nice chat to Greg and Jack at the game. Met Falsey and Maury and Big Oak and that. Davy Hennigan in the wide down. Felt like a run-of-the-mill Saturday with Killie being the better team as they should be. Nice, quite comfortable win in the end. We'll talk about that. But I loved it, mate. Had a really lovely time on Saturday.
Felt like times were good again. It seemed
Didn't
like
it?
as routine a victory as you're likely to kind of get, particularly at this stage of the season, and what was at stake for Killie and where we've been this year. But because I think my perception kind of changed after the game. The few folk I spoke to, because they were a bit not quite down because we'd won and get the clean sheet, but some folk weren't really that convinced to us, whereas I thought we were actually pretty decent, to be honest. I think that, again, I've seen us play better, but I thought it was, again, a pretty routine one. Of course, a bit of nerves in there, but there's always got to be when you've been where we've been this season. But I had a very good day as well. I
was comfortable, mate. I wasn't mad keen in the first 15 minutes. So I was texting you. I was a wee bit.
You were biffing out.
I was thinking we'd overthink it. I wasn't dead keen on the change of system and all that. But I thought we were comfortable in the end. I thought Hugo was tremendous, man. I know Brandon had a very good game again. Amongst others, Kiltie's been getting plaudits as he richly deserves, but and the back four looks nice and settled, which is obviously huge. But Hugo was the man for me, mate. Very, very, very good striker, I think we've got in our hands there.
So it feeds into what I was kind of updating you with when you missed a couple of games, where I just think that his all-round play up front is unbelievable. To top it off with a goal, even better. But see what I actually quite liked about it, he makes a bit of an arse of that one in the first minute.
Aye.
It's another couple but he doesn't put his seat down, kind of just keeps going, and it's a brilliant instinctive finish. I think the second man, getting across the defender, getting the leg out, and good both feet as well. And twice now we've seen like a similar, like, don't get me wrong, his assist on its end was unbelievable for the touch and the pace.
It's great, and by the way, underrated how good a ball across it is. It's the perfect weight, and it means that Finlay Curtis can just dink it back out of the keeper. Sensational.
Well, exactly what I was coming to there, because Hinkie, again, the layoff for John Jules, that one, where he just knows it's the difference. It's what you can tell that he's that level above, where he's got that nous about him almost, to like, he knows where the player should be. He doesn't need to touch and keep taking touches and look across. He kens exactly where Curtis should be. Curtis still got a wee bit of day as well, because as much as it was a good ball across, it's still like he's got a wee dink today, and I'm just delighted for him. I mean, what a week it's been for Finlay.
I think he'll get a cap on Saturday.
It'd be typical Clark just no to do that, man.
It would be,
but I'm actually kind of hoping that it gives the wee place like Ken, even the last 10 minutes or something like that, just to get, because one thing's for sure, whether it's on Saturday or whether it's in 2 or 3 years, he'll 100% get a Scotland cap.
He's a very good player, isn't he? You'd like to think now with the points, it's a 12-point gap now to Livingston. You'd like to think that us were safe for automatic relegation. It would take Livingston to go on an almighty run. They haven't won a game since August in the league. It's not going to happen. And I do think it's worth pausing and celebrating that, because there's been plenty of time on this podcast, certainly over the Christmas spell, where I was starting to get pretty convinced that we would, whether or not we actually ended up getting relegated, we would certainly be in the conversation right up to the end of the season. So I think it is a wee tip of the hat to McCann and Dodds. Have done a great job, and we're probably safe for automatic, I would say. Now, would you agree?
I would say we are, absolutely. I think that when you consider where we were when they came in, I was on the Scottish football
showing off
the few days before the Livi game, and it was like myself on, no, I think it was after the Livi game where we got to that point, but I think Livi were playing St Mirren run about that time, that rescheduled game, and we were all trying to say at that point, like, it was after the back of us getting beat for Dundee. That was exactly when it was in the Scottish Cup.
Oh God, we were awful that day.
Infamously missed doing it at Sunderland, and you were texting me that day, whereas I thought you were being you and overreacting, but it turned out that your viewpoint was backed up by the many others that were in communication with me throughout the day. But I remember even saying at that point, kind of off the back of that, thinking we've no got the bounce that we were hoping, and that wasn't me patting out McCann and Dodge's door at that. I was just thinking these guys beyond help, but shows the difference. Fresh faces, the signings, Hugo, Finlay Curtis, Tishbola coming back. Oh, that's just gives the place a massive lift, and with all the players come back for injuries. I know we lost John Jules, which was a right sad one, but when you've got Hugo in the kind of form that he's been in, it's been definitely an able replacement.
And when you consider, I mean, John Jules was on his way there to probably being Player of the Month, probably being our Player of the Year. Probably ended up second or third top goal scorer in the league, and to lose him was such a massive blow, and we've recovered so well, man. And I think credit goes to the squad, the wider squad, and obviously having the likes of Watkins back and contributing is massive, but Hugo gets loads of credit for that. And I do think in forward areas, bringing in Curtis and Kiltie's form, it's really softened the blow, because that was our talisman, and our form's no dipped at all if he's left. So it's credit to the full squad.
That says a lot, because that would be enough, and we were all saying it ourselves, we're like, oh, this is so Killie, we look like we're getting ourselves out it, and then something like that would derail you. But the way we've bounced back for it's just been unbelievable. And but everybody stepping up. Like I said, you mentioned Killie there. He's been unbelievable. Like he has. He's been top class, and I'm so happy for him because he's been such an easy target over his 2 spells at Killie. I know he can be sometimes frustrating, but he's certainly, it shows the difference when somebody uses him and plays him for what his strengths are.
Well, that's it, mate. He's a number 10, and he's probably spent most of his career playing wide because he's maybe not been seen to be physically big enough, but I think he looks dead robust now. And
work off the ball,
and that's the intelligence, man, that no every player in that division has got. You know what I mean? There's plenty of decent athletes and good football players, but that wee, like you're saying, that kind of tactical awareness and that ability to move off the ball and see the pictures in the part, I think that's what Kiltie's got. And that's probably why for years you've always said there might be a move to England in it for him, because he's playing well. He's a very, very, very talented football player, and it's great. You're right. It's great to see it finally happening after all these years.
Aye, absolutely thrilled for him. But again, along with the rest of them, it just shows you it's funny how quickly things can change as well, though. Because when I was kind of typing up some of the talking points for the game, I thought Tishbo, brilliant again, man. I was like, here he is. Like he's just strolling it back here. And just as I'm starting to dedicate a fifth of the piece to him, I'm like typing there, I'm like, he's not touched the ball for the last 5 minutes. Half time comes, we kind of fade it out the game then. 10 minutes into the second half, hooked. And I'm like, oh well, you can't write about that now.
What did he get, about an hour? 56.
Aye, yeah. But all that aside, I don't know whether he maybe was carrying a wee knock. Somebody said they got a spare one first half, but I thought for that period where we looked really good in that first half, for about, I don't know, I ken it's 30 minutes or whatever, but I just thought that we looked at a level above Livi, like comfortably above Livi at that point. And what I loved about Tishbola there was he got all the plaudits for the other side of the game against Hearts. You can get back and make no challenges, but he was just desperate to be on the ball all the time, and he was just moving things side to side, but 25 yards higher up the park when Livi were penned back at the edge of their 18-yard box, and even getting a couple of shots away as well. And I'm just thinking, what a player we've got back here. This is the Tish that we're all hoping. But again, he ends up fading out the game. But I thought he performed well for the 56 minutes he was on the park. I think
if you look at that 4, and we obviously kind of went to that diamond shape again, but you've got Tish, Polworth, who's got his detractors, and there's questions about that and all. Kiltie and Finlay Curtis, there's no doubt about it. That's 4 football players, mate. Whether or no they're all at their best, and whether or no they're all brilliant at every part of the game, and there is a big shift there in terms of the philosophy and what McCann and Dodds are obviously wanting the players today, because their first instinct is, the 4 of them, is to keep the ball, is to play it quickly, is to find another blue and white strip, whereas there's been plenty of days this season where the midfield, it's been hook it on, win a header, the completely missed it altogether in some instances. So I do think that bodes really, really well, and I do think it helps with the enjoyment of the football, because again, we're not talking about Xavi and Iniesta here, man. We know what we're talking about, but it does help when you're watching guys who you think you wouldn't see that at Willardine Park. Could they look better? And I think credit goes to the 4 of them, because you can see we're certainly trying to play football. That was the second part of what my Tish piece was got to be about, and literally the same words you used there, proper football players. Like it's clear to see for the makeup of that diamond that's what it gives you. And as you said, it's a total philosophical shift to what we've been accustomed to for the last year, 2 years, even under the likes of McInnes and that at times. And there was just periods in that first half I genuinely really enjoyed watching us. And again, second half wasn't as great. You're obviously got to see that bit, but I think we take so much for that as well. We went and played well against Hearts, but a 1-0 win does so much for the confidence, the back 4. But even that, where we look pretty good and comfortable, Livi then get their spell back in the game a wee bit. To then see that out and come out the other side it and get the second goal, I think there's so much to take for that. And it's so unfortunate that we still find ourselves in 11th place, because I thought that would have been it. If we won at the weekend, we would have been out. But the confidence is there. The confidence is there for the stands all the way through, that I think we're going to be alright. Good atmosphere on Saturday too. I thought that you could feel I think the weather helped, and obviously the Killie community done great work and get an extra 600 tickets out there or something. But it's amazing how much better that wee 5-6% more in the grunt, it just makes it feel so much better. I think I noticed, because
of course, the last few weeks I've been in the ground a hell of a lot earlier than I usually would be, and I bet the folk that I sit next to at the fit are delighted that I'm not disrupting them anymore, be walking in late after running down for the pyramid. But when I was in and around the ground about 2 o'clock, like, the footfall was evident, and I was like, man, there's something in there today. And then obviously it became clear that it was the Killie Community Match Day. And for them, and the amount of folk, it was their first game of football as well. I saw they put that out.
I love that, man.
And I know it was in partnership as well with World Down Syndrome Day as well, which was great to see. But you're right, the difference that it made, man. Like, again, 400-500 extra folk there. I've said it 100 times, man. Like, Rugby Park with 6,000 on it, the atmosphere's absolutely brilliant. I don't care what MD says. I think that's like the magic number. If you can get towards that, it just lifts the place. And long may it continue, and you hope that. I mean, how many times have the tickets been given out for a disappointing performance? Again, we're not talking about Xavi Iniesta or Pep's Barcelona here, but surely folk will take a lot more for that and would have enjoyed the experience, especially, and the sun and all that helps as well.
Aye, well, what you're hoping for is now you've got the wee break, and then you've got Hibs away, which I'm looking forward to. Up there and get a point even, and then you've got that big game against Dundee where you could potentially reel them in that day, depending on how their results go. Wee bit of sun again. You know what I mean? The clocks have went for it by now, and you're hoping that, can you get that crowd in again, man? 5,500, and then go, and because as you said last week, the home record is now good. So aye, it's the optimism is in the air, man, and it's been a long time coming.
Well, the Dundee game certainly should see a lift in the footfall, because the club are running that initiative where I think a season ticket holder,
you're right,
can bring a friend for free. So that's huge, and I like the communication's been out early this time with that, and there's no caveat about you can either of these 2 games, but you can only use it once. Like, the messaging wasn't great.
It's got to be direct, isn't it, with something like that for it to work.
Straight for that. Dundee game, huge game, last game before the split. Season ticket holder can bring a friend for free, and it's as simple as that. And let's hope that we're breaking that, because Dundee will bring a good support as well. So I think you've surely got to be looking at that. You're well beyond 6,000 that day, and I think it's going to be a great marker to see how far we've travelled since that cup game. Having them at home, because we were terrible that day and we really deserved to lose the mayor. DT scored, but I'm looking forward to that, man. But it's so good getting into this international break with a wee bit of optimism. Obviously we've now got levelling points with St Mirren, 3 behind Aberdeen. We'll talk about that. We've got some questions coming in, but it's feeling a lot sunnier, mate, and I don't mean that just literally. It's the whole place has had a big lift, and it's lovely. Well, it's the polar opposite getting into the last break, where with the Scottish Cup weekend after a 5-1 down to Falkirk, where McCann spoke about it after the game that he was itching for another game, whereas now it's one that you enjoy, kind of thing, like, and it feels like that for us as well, because you're just like, don't get me wrong, you would love to be at a game on Saturday, but it's just good, like, we can take a wee bit of perspective to where we actually have came for, even in the last couple of weeks. But I think there's just so much to get behind now, and we certainly seem to be hitting form at the right time of the season, and let's just hope that it's enough to get ourselves out of that 11th place. And I think that the big thing I'm most pleased about, probably in reflection, is that Falkirk game was a blip, because I had a worry. I'm going, here we go, man, like, we've had our wee bounce and now we're going back, and I think they got it wrong that day, and the game got away for them, and they've recovered brilliantly, man. So I think that gives me a lot of confidence, Well, it's particularly when you look, and don't get me wrong, I think we've got a question about the away form as well, just in general, which has been haunting us now for a good couple of years. But to go back to the home form, that, as you just touched on, like, it's 4 wins out of 5, and the defeat was to Celtic with the last kick of the ball in a game
never get beat.
We should have never get beat, and we should have probably won the game anyway. So you're thinking, that's no mean feat, you know what I mean? That's we've done a lot right there to get to where we are. Definitely seen enough to suggest that we've turned the corner, and we've definitely seen enough to suggest that Falkirk was a blip.
Aye. And just a quick hats off again to Kellerus, another clean sheet. I know folk weren't convinced by him. He's definitely turning that round about, I would say, and Brandon makes such a huge difference in it right back, doesn't
he? Well, the balance buzzer over here.
The balance buzzer,
for
mate.
Greg with the Patreon shout, but that's exactly it. And Brandon's come in, and again, and I mean this with the greatest of respect, but it's nothing exceptional he's doing. It's just that trust in the right hand side that you're not being exposed. But I think both him and Larson, they've thrived off of playing in this system, because they're the ones that are providing the width with the diamond in the middle of the park. So I'm delighted with how things are going. And just any time we've got the ball, there's options, and that's the big thing. I mean, how often have we watched this over the last couple of years? And even when things were great under McInnes, and again, McInnes gets critics at times for the way we played, but I actually enjoyed watching us at home. But the amount of times you're now just seeing options and runners off the ball, which is just something that never existed for a large period under Kettlewell, particularly when you're surrendering possession. Like, Ken, it'd be an interesting one to go back and see the likes of the possession stats alone.
Good point.
Because I think under Kettlewell we had the lowest possession in the league, and don't get me wrong, we've said that 100 times, you watch football with your eyes, but that was definitely Kettlewell's tactic. It was the same at Motherwell, like, they surrendered possession and it was a case of feeding off seconds, but we're not doing that, whereas the fact that we were able to try and kind of dictate the tempo of a game is a welcome change.
Excellent, man. So obviously you talked about running down for the Pyramid. I was in the Pyramid pre-match on Saturday as well, and a Pyramid legend, a stalwart, somebody that loads of Killie fans will know, Joke Deary. The sad news came through that he'd passed away. It was a sombre place, actually, the Pyramid, especially that corner, where Killie corner, and anybody that's in there having a drink will know the characters I'm talking about. And I just thought it was worth mentioning, mate, and unfortunately we could do this every week. It's the way it is, especially off the back of what happened with Jim Fleeting in the minutes of applause for all that. But I just wanted to make sure that I spoke about it, and we gave him his rightful place, because there weren't many bigger Killie fans in this world than Joke Deary, mate.
Oh, Killie through and through, and the brains behind the travel club, really. And I get always there, ever present, all the time. I would even see him as well, give my wave when I was able to move with my knees, and then my 5k through Crooked Hame. You'd always see him at the bus stop waiting to get the bus into Killie, and go up to the Pyramid for his pre-match pint. But really sad. Didn't realise that it came as a shock. And that'll be obviously happening in the rest of the Puddock and all that for the travel club. Again, as you said, stalwarts of the support, and I think that they'll get a bit of recognition at some point, because, and it's not a case that I think that it's always sad when any fan passes away, but the likes of Joke was, I mean, he was Killie through and through, and there all the time. The amount he's done for the club over the years, like, you're hoping that there's maybe a wee nod for the club officially there at some point. Aye,
well said, mate. Okay, right, folks, we'll be back very shortly. We'll get your questions for the KillieFC.com forums and for the X, but before we do that, we'll get a quick word from our sponsor, Nick Davis at Allied Surveyors Scotland. Allied Surveyors have been carrying out valuations and home reports across Ayrshire and in Kilmarnock for over 20 years. Company director and lifelong Killie fan Nick Davis is based here at 91 John Finney Street, and is here to help you if you've got any questions or queries, or are looking to get your home sold. Alright, everybody, welcome back. Thank you again to Nick Davis. I met him again on Saturday, bumping into him far too regularly.
It's always a pleasant experience.
It is.
I think the amount of folk that you're like, I wish I never bumped into them.
I never feel that way about Nick. He's always got a bit of chat. He told me quite a funny story about supporting one of the Shaman. Remember we talked about the Shaman briefly last week? He was like, I'd never tell you the story when we supported Mr. C for the Shaman. And I went, oh no man, like, kind of thinking, I think he really pissed the guy off. Nick's band obviously played on for too long, and the guy for the Shaman was pissed at them. So he's made an enemy for the guy for the Shaman, but he's made a friend with us. So if you've got any questions or anything you need to know around about getting surveyed or whatever, then Nick is 100% the guy. Great Killie fan, top man to work with. So give him a shout on all the channels that we'll tweet out as we always do. Right, man, questions. Shall we?
Yes.
Right, okay.
I think we should always start with the forums, man.
I think we should go with the forums first. Will I go with the WhatsApps I've had through?
Oh, well, WhatsApps first.
Right, okay, so go on.
How many you got?
2.
For the Nav and who else?
For Scott, friend at pod.
Scott Watson?
Right. So he's
a friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. So he says, what do you think the league is going to look like before the split begins? So he's guessing Dundee on 32 points, they will lose to Celtic and us. Aberdeen on 32, draw at St Mirren and draw at Hibs. Killie on 31, draw at Hibs and win against Dundee. And St Mirren 28, draw at Aberdeen and lose to Celtic. What's your thoughts?
It's a tough one, man. Again, we Who does know, man? We're obviously getting dug up for some of our predictions for a few weeks ago. Well, it was more so me, I think, that tried to pour cold water on the Aberdeen situation. But I honestly don't know. Again, perspective here. We've no won at Easter Road for, I think Boydie scored in 2014 to keep us up. It's unacceptable. Like, it's no good enough. So for us to suggest that we'll go up there and, I mean, of course we can win, but the record doesn't really show it.
No.
And I'm just one again where I don't want to see a capitulation, and that's not me being negative as such. I just want I think the Falkirk was a blip, as we just spoke about there, but I think that if we can just go up there and compete with Hibs, cause them bother, it's not been a happy hunting ground for us. I think fans will take that, and it all comes down to that Dundee game. But with Nervy and Dundee, I've turned the corner as well. So honestly, I don't want to air any of my predictions here, man. Because honestly, I think we're capable of winning both games. We're capable of getting beat both games.
Aye, my wee kind of psychological deal I've made with myself is I'm going to no worry about St Mirren and Aberdeen and Dundee and all that. I'm just going to focus on Killie, because I don't know how good the teams are really. I mean, I thought Aberdeen would easily finish in the top six, so that just tells you the level of my interest or knowledge on them. I find it hard to believe that they're not going to pick up some points somewhere. I honestly don't believe we'll finish above them, because I think we'll run out of games more than anything, and I don't think they'll lose every week now. And I think Robinson getting in them, having a wee break, and they're going to, as I said to you in the way here, they're playing the same teams as us too. It's not like they're going to Tynecastle and having to play Rangers and Celtic and Hibs. And they're going to be playing Livi, and they're going to be playing St Mirren and us, and our record isn't brilliant at Pittodrie. So I don't know whether or not we'll finish above them, but the focus I've got is we've got these 7 games remaining, 7 in it, 2 before the split and 5 after. It's even going to win 4 of them. You're probably going to be alright.
That should be
and that's what I'm focused on. Hibs, bite your hand off for a point, and then if you can come out with that with the 4 points, and we're sitting on that 31, I think that's a decent wee bit above even my most generous expectation would have been. I thought 28, 29 would have been good. If we can get above 30, I think it's been a brilliant run.
Well, the key thing that you've said there is it's about running out of games here more than anything. No anything to do with the form that we're in.
No, the form's fantastic, I think.
The corner that we've turned, but this is what happens when you go 18 games without winning a game.
That's it, mate, and that doesn't. That's going to kill us, because you just can't absorb that. Over this going half the season without winning, it's going to be that. So I think that might be the thing that keeps us in the hunt for that relegation place, that playoff place towards the end. Right, the Nav got in touch and says, question for you to publish. Taking the last 3 years into consideration, how many of our attackers would you swap for Robbie Muirhead, who I thought led the line well for an hour versus Livi? Small sample, I know, but I've always felt there's a place for him, third or fourth choice in the squad, and that's maybe because he's homegrown but capable at this level. So we had a wee similar chat to that yesterday. What's your thoughts?
Well, I'm biased, aren't I?
Aye, but
I would just give him the number 9 jersey now.
But friendship aside,
no, I think I spoke about how happy I'm for Greg Kiltie, but of course, because Kiltie's pulling on the stripes. But Robbie, I think he's proven a lot of folk wrong this year. I mean, Livi haven't been great, but I think any time that he's started, he's contributed. And again, don't get me wrong, they've no won a game for August, which is well documented. But I think that when Robbie has played, he's caused teams problems. He's scored at Park Eden on that against a penalty, but he's still got to have the nerve to go and take it. He's a threat set piece wise as well. He always carries a threat, in which he's actually asked me to draw attention to the free kick in the first half. Aye. Where the one that fires into them off it, it hit a wee boy in the face. He obviously put his horn up to acknowledge it, but he said if the message can get out, whoever it is, if they want to get in touch with us, that he'll give them a signed pair of bits or something.
Oh, class, man. So there, if that was you or your youngster, give us a message, and Robbie will send you a wee compensatory gift.
She's a good guy, man.
He is a good guy. I think Robbie would be a perfect kind of level of signing for going on. If put it this way, if we went into next season and we had John Jules, Hugo, Gennaro Daniels and Robbie, I'd be very comfortable with that.
Oh, different types of strikers.
Different types of strikers.
Well. The thing that I'm pleased with is because it goes without saying that I've said this for some time, and given he's one of my best mates, I'm never going to publicly say shite of that, because I genuinely don't think he is. But I'm happy that a lot of our folk are seeing this. When I read back the forums, a good number of folk were saying the same. And again, the fact that the Niv, who can be a hard man to please, is suggesting that, again, shows that it's cutting through. And but again, he's under contract at Livi.
Aye, of course. Aye.
So it's again, whether that would happen or no, I doubt. But aye, I think that he certainly, when you see what we've been left with over the years, we could do a lot worse than Robbie Muirhead.
Alright, so Jack Wilson got in touch, and we had another similar question for Gavin or Hilson. I think we were on the X, and it was just about Aberdeen, basically saying there was a question a few weeks ago about the possibility of us catching Aberdeen. You talked it down at the time, saying there was no chance, but with them on a run of 1 win for 15 league games and only 3 points above us, have you changed your minds at all?
So it's funny, because I was actually saying on Saturday that I literally quoted myself saying that, because I'm like, we won, Aberdeen need to go to Ibrox, like, then they're reeled right back in as well. And I said as much a few weeks ago in the pod that it was pie in the sky stuff almost. But again, I think that I'm with you. I just think we need to focus on Killie. And as much as I'm delighted for where we've got ourselves to, and I think that I would have guessed that we would have been at the playoff by the weekend, but we've still not caught St Mirren. We've caught up with St Mirren.
Aye. They're still ahead of us, man. Yep.
We're not above them yet. So again, one team at a time. And that was always really my kind of mantra anyway. Of course it's possible, but you, again, repeating you here, Aberdeen still need to play the same teams as us, and we'll probably need to go there, because it'll be interesting to see how it works out in the split, because I think the only team that we'd be due to play at home is Dundee United. But it will never work out that way, because that would be like 4 away games, which is never going to happen. But I mean, if we need to go to Pittodrie, can let our record.
The chances are you're no picking up much for that. No, again, I think Aberdeen on 30 points. They've got they're 10 goals better off than us and all. And like I say, with the same fixtures, Robinson going in, I would, if I was a betting man and all, I'd still bet on Aberdeen finishing above us. What position that means they're in, I don't know. But as I said to you last night, and I'll put it out there, the if we finish above Aberdeen, I will eat 2 slices of roasted cheese, heavily peppered, on this podcast.
Billy Dodd special.
The Billy Dodd special. So there we go. That's it out there. That's an official. It's in black and white. Our form is so much better. I would still rather have the points in the board as it stands.
And it's one of them, because I can see both sides. Because
it's much funnier if Aberdeen finish 11th. Let's get that out the road. Seen somebody put on Twitter, St Mirren and Killie need to work together to make sure Aberdeen finish 11th, and I get that, because it would be hilarious. But I just think we've still got loads and loads of work to do ourselves. It would be lovely to finish above.
We do. But the only thing I can see, the parallels between Butcher at Hibs is quite interesting.
A very interesting one that folk have drawn attention to.
Because Butcher done a brilliant job at Inverness. You thought, he'll get in a Hibs, he'll be sound,
and he'll sort them out,
relegate it, and you're thinking that would be. I mean, again, I think
Aberdeen are owed a relegation, mate. So
same with Motherwell.
So we'll see, man. We'll see, Jack. Good question. Right, Barbino, get in touch. Are we now starting to see a settled team? Brandon has made such a difference. The defence seems so much more confident, which seems to have settled bigger. I think you're right, mate. Absolutely. Astute observation. What's your favourite planet?
Planet?
Aye.
Planet Funk.
Planet Funk, aye. What's so good about Planet Funk?
Too many things to air on this podcast.
Right.
What about you?
Favourite planet? I was interested in probably Saturn.
Don't know enough about them, mate.
Nah.
Saturn,
I like Saturn. I like Venus. Venus sounds good.
Val Venus.
He was one of my favourite mid-card wrestlers for the 90s. Mars, I know, I'm a wee bit scared of Mars.
Aye.
Because of Total Recall. And then obviously when the Schwarzenegger's mask blows up and his eyes all pop out. But I'll go with Saturn, Perry Saturn.
It's a big bad world out there anyway, man.
Aye. Earth would be my least favourite now. With everything going on.
It's no ideal. Although I wasn't keen on I'm not as educated in the solar system as I would like to be. But I, like probably everybody else my age, had the lights in the room.
Of course you had to have it, aye.
The glow in the dark kind of things that stuck to the wall.
Taylor actually had the planets dangling down.
Oh, did he?
It was like kind of a wee bit of like fishing kind of wire, and we hung them up, and at night you turned the light off and it was all the planets on it. Taylor got a rocket for his 6th birthday, this big rocket he could get in, and he designed it on. We got him a wee spaceman outfit on it. It was super cute, man.
The spaceman?
Aye, spaceman came travelling.
New age nerdy, that, man.
Aye.
I like it though.
Right, Gal Dunk gets in touch. What a signing Joe Hugo's proven to be. How on earth did we manage to get him? Was he a Sam Morrow arranged deal, and if not, who? Any knowledge?
It's an interesting one because I mean, if that's what McCann's doing with a couple of weeks on the door, I'm excited to see what happens come the summer.
Aye, it looks a very good player to me, Gal. And what's your favourite dessert? Or is that your favourite desert? the Gobi. I quite like that Sahara. Right, what's your
Tell me right again, man. What the Sahara?
What is your favourite dessert? It's a good question.
Multiple here, as would come as no surprise, but got to be a cheese board, man.
Okay.
Got to be a cheese board. But I've got to give credit to got to give a shout out to my sister and my nieces who, because I listen tutors on a Monday night, so once I finish work, because I'm just up the road for there, I always go to Julie's for my dinner on a Monday night, and Ava and Lacey have been making like cakes and bakes. I
sampled the cake last week.
So you did?
Very good, mate. Enjoyed it.
Did you enjoy it, man?
Did enjoy it. It was like a chocolate cake, but no too chocolatey. I don't have a favourite dessert. I'm actually, as I got older, going after dessert. I was a big dessert guy, as Melanie would tell you. I used to be like quite ignorant when I got a dessert. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I'll just like focus on my dessert. But in honour of the great man, my dad, who for years has sworn by vanilla ice cream, nothing else.
Nuts.
Nothing else. Doesn't want sprinkles, doesn't want a different flavour, just wants a bowl of vanilla ice cream. And I'm coming into that idea the older I get.
You actually can't beat it.
Aye. Simple but wonderful.
Can't have the food question without what's Billy Dodds, banana fritter or something.
A big knickerbocker glory, man.
It's got to be the banana fritter.
Banana split.
After the 5-star, man. The
banana fritter and ice cream, aye.
For 11 quid, man.
Aye.
It's got to be the banana
fritter for Doddsy. Dillinger, friend at Pod, says if Joe Hugo and Usain Bolt had a race, what do you think Joe Hugo's celebration would be?
He's wee point that he done at the weekend.
Because he's very, very, very quick. What about Daniels? What is it? 1, 2, 3 in the pocket?
In the pocket, man. Aye.
It's quite cool too, isn't it?
Is he doing it the European way?
The European way, aye.
Which is like the
Inglorious Bastards.
Aye.
Slippers says, as Robbie Muirhead's unofficial press officer, will be issuing a public apology for his free kick hitting the Puri boy in the Moffat.
He said the public apology has been issued. Mate.
Right ahead of you there, Slippers. Bobby 14, what can swim faster, a horse or a dog?
Can horses swim?
Stu said aye. There was a noise here. Aye, obviously. Can horses swim? Aye.
See, I should know that. I'm now kind of the horsey world.
Horsey end of the spectrum.
Aye. But I would put my money in a dog, man.
Horses get much bigger.
I didn't know they could swim.
A dog goes like that, a horse goes in and does it right. Fucking fly it right into it, and that big mane flowing in the water. We'll go with a horse, right?
Aye.
Ray D says, when was the last player interview you heard that did not use the words massive, obviously, or 100%?
Got to throw myself under the bus here. What I'll say to Ray D is, it's different, man. When you're here and the camera's on you and the mic's there, you say words like that all the time. I say obviously all the time.
Absolutely.
I say absolutely.
I say mate 100 times a podcast, to the point where I was checking and listening to it to make sure it sounds alright, and I was turning it off because I'm like, you just keep saying mate.
So that's
I mean, you only mates.
Nah, well, no.
We don't go on.
Well, no.
That's why it's annoying.
But so what I would say is it's easy when you're in outside observing that, because I get it. Well, I know that I get it personally, but I mean, folk will say that. Oh, the amount of folk say obviously. I'm like, when you go and do an interview in front of folk, then
there you go, Ray. The gauntlet's been laid down.
No, not just to Ray. I just mean in general. I think that it would probably catch you. Could you imagine somebody filming your job interviews, mate?
Aye, it'd be great.
Well, aye, the tennis ball over there.
The tennis ball. Right, let's do it. Right, you're Joe Hugo. You've just had your excellent performance. You've got man of the match on Saturday. I'll interview you, right? You've just come in. You've just done. It wasn't Joe Hugo. It was Callum Scott that's come in. Callum, you must be absolutely delighted with that. A goal and an assist and 3 precious points.
It's just all about the lads in the dressing room. We're all a team. We all work together, and I was just lucky enough to benefit for getting on the end of one of the chances that my teammates supplied for me. What's
been the big difference since McCann's come in? The club are now really beginning to pick up a bit of pace.
I think that the manager's brought a bit of belief to the dressing room. I think that we're on course. We seem to have turned the corner, and we've got full confidence in him and Doddsy. And
what do you think would swim faster, a horse or a dog?
See, I wasn't aware that horses could swim. That's certainly thrown a spanner in the works for me. So obviously it's going to be a horse.
100%. There you go, mate. Fantastic. Right, who's up next? Let me open my interview. This is a great question.
Is this the
For
question?
mathematics.
Oh, I can't wait for
Fantastic question. Brilliant question. What are your top 5 movie soundtracks or scores, if you're that way inclined? How pivotal was Rory McKenzie on Saturday coming on to steal the 3 points? And is he now actually the best guy in football?
Right, well, Rory gets enough credit on this pod, so
We love Roro on here.
Right there, but we need to deal with this big question, man.
Right, top 5.
I was actually buzzing. I didn't do a top 5,
Right.
but I'm going to list off a couple of good use of music in films.
Okay.
But my favourite soundtrack, from a personal point of view, is actually Drive.
It's great, isn't it?
Brilliant.
It's so atmospheric.
It's amazing.
Very, very good.
What a film, by the way. I've not watched it again for years because there's so little dialogue in it.
Do you know what I like about the soundtrack to that? It's a kind of callback to, like, say, like Jan Hammer. Ken Jan Hammer? Don Johnson driving about, and like the kind of Miami Vice in the air tonight. No, it's got that atmosphere about it. But that's a great shout. That's a very good shout.
Aye, so Drive would be my favourite. And you've seen that in my car. Well, heard it.
That's right. It was on a couple of weeks ago.
I just like to kid on him, Ryan Gosling, man.
Aye.
I always take the jacket off before
The jacket comes off, and you're just driving about that wee Vauxhall Corsa, mate, just the way Ryan Gosling did.
That's it, mate. Absolutely love it.
Class.
Got to give an honourable mention to The Departed.
Oh, right, okay.
So, Give Me Shelter at the start of it. It's brilliant.
Good start.
Shipping up to Boston in it, and Comfortably Numb as well. Very good use of it. Then there's obviously been hundreds of other soundtracks, but I loved in Wall Street just when they're talking heads. This must be the place.
That is good, isn't it?
He's got to his peak before it all goes. But then you've got Goodfellas.
Goodfellas is
that you got that.
Goodfellas is on my list because it's just so iconic, and the end of Layla with the piano is just sensational. So Goodfellas is on my list too.
Right, go for it.
I've also got Big Trouble in Little China for the pure nostalgia. I think it's John Carpenter that does the score in the soundtrack, so that's in there for me. I love the score to Training Day.
It's your favourite film.
It's one of my favourite films, but it really kind of sets the mood beautifully. I love that. I like Danny Elfman's scores. A lot of the Tim Burton films, but Beetlejuice specifically too. Love that. I love The Life Aquatic, Steve Zissou.
Right, no familiar.
Wes Anderson film.
Oh, right, aye.
There's a guy who plays covers of David Bowie songs in French all the way through it, and it kind of noodles in and out. The soundtrack I've listened to the most is the Dumb and Dumber soundtrack. I had the CD and I loved
Crash Test Dummies.
Test Dummies is on it. Loved that. And it's not my favourite score or soundtrack because I actually think it's kind of shite, but it's the best bit of music in a film is Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
Oh, right.
When they're walking home and it plays Every Time You Go Away. It's so both heartbreakingly sad and beautiful. That's my favourite bit of music.
Very well thought, man.
And I've gave that some time and effort today.
But that's the kind of questions that we love. An honourable mention as well, just for closing credits and that. Again, it's maybe a kind of obvious one, but Fight Club and Pixies, Where Is My Mind?
Very good, mate. Excellent. Killie Clover says on the topic of Rory, should there always be a contract on the table for him?
Yes.
Aye.
Genuinely for me.
I think so too. I'm totally on board with that. Vanilla Dijon, hello mate. As my dad pointed out when the teams were coming down the tunnel, were Livi wearing refs jerseys or were the refs wearing Livi jerseys? No need for that maybe in that black kit, winter, no. Don't like that. I'm glad the poor officiating didn't get in the way. I thought the ref was very poor, very fussy, getting things wrong all the time. But
new breed, man.
He wasn't
because all the experienced refs are doing VAR. It's like a lot of just.
I thought it was rubbish. And he also says it's starting to feel like the dark days of winter are over and we can see light at the end of the tunnel, both metaphorically with the start of spring and the curse of the goth vampire wearing off. Confidemus 1869, how good was it? And a top man, and you're a pint, mate. How good was it to have 3 PM Saturday football back?
As because it's been a rarity.
Fantastic. Feel we're on a roll now, but typical, we've got an international break. Us in St Mirren has pulled the sheep right into this battle. Do you think there's a chance the Dons going down or reconstruction will happen again? Covered that one, mate, but it would be funny. Teeth Grinder, one of your favourite names. The bottom 6 now look pretty much decided. Which opponents will we get at home? St Mirren and Aberdeen, I presume, give us our best chance of a 9th or 10th place finish. How do you think that'll?
Just can't. It's tough because we'll benefit out it in some way because somebody will have to come to us that shouldn't really have to come back down the 77.
The Beer Baron says another poor officiating performance on Saturday is VAR being used as a crutch, fail-safe method to allow refs to get to let things go and hope their pals will bail them out. They would need referees to be stronger in their convictions, like the situation with Kabongo getting red carded. Elsewhere, kebab pies at the fit by year, nay. Yeah. Seen two boys in front of me having them, and I thought I could be bothered with that, but I couldn't be bothered getting back down to the stall.
No, they're pretty decent. I'm going to say something kind of controversial here about the red card. I
don't think it is a red card.
I don't think it's a red card.
Is that controversial? I've seen a few folks saying that.
Alright, I thought everybody's saying it's an obvious red. They're like, why did the ref need to go like Ken wide it up? I'm like, they've set the precedent of late because the goalie's off his line. Curtis can easily get a shot away, but I'm just a bit like, when you see it, but at the time on the ground you always think, oh Ken, but when I see it back, but again, the precedent's been set. But I know that Colum said in the recent kind of VAR review that they'll maybe be looking at Dogzo's the name in it, man. Everybody's quoting now, but for me, I don't think.
I'm with you in that. I don't think that should be rids in fact, but it is now. Right, KS 1992. Assuming our post-split fixtures 3 away, 2 at home, I expect the third visit from Livi. That's the cleanest way to do it. Will it be enough to avoid the playoffs by winning our home games? So will they win the 3 games we're getting at home? 9 points. Maybe be a bit tight. Probably need another win in there somewhere, I think.
I would say so.
I think we're currently on our second longest winless run away from home in the Premiership since it was formed in 2013. That says it all. So I think we're going to need to put another big result, kind of like Hearts. I think if we can take care of the business, the bread and butter stuff, we're still going to need to come out with
be great. I imagine come back Feaster Road in days time.
That's a game. That's a game changer. And TKB, this one's for Monty. Partridge or The Office? The Office. The Office is higher standard. Partridge dips. I'm Alan Partridge season 2 isn't very good. Although the film's probably better than the David Brent film. And there's Mary Partridge to pick through. I love them both dearly. But I think The Office is the UK Office is the best television show ever made. I would say.
Agreed. The reason that the David Brent film obviously wasn't as good is because Merchant wasn't
Stephen
involved.
Merchant, mate. And what's your opinion on a Toblerone?
I like one, but I would never get my way for one.
No.
Whereas if somebody like an odd Christmas gift, that would be appreciated and digested, but I wouldn't get my way.
I think they hurt your mouth, Toblerones, but they remind me of the airport. Can I be Toblerone?
One of the big ones.
Aye, can I airport sweetie. Right, okay, we'll blast through these ones on the X and all, man. Robert Foster says good to catch up with Cal on Saturday. Loads of Easter eggs donated for local kids, which is brilliant. We have to get Easter Road packed out. Getting 3 points would be amazing. Just said that, man.
Spot on, mate.
Captain Conker, the gorgeous squirrel. Post split predictions home and away. We've kind of covered that. Can I give public flowers for Lenny's top bins penalty? It's a great penalty at half time. And with the recent post on Killie Easter eggs, which are top 5 best Easter egg.
My favourite is just go to Big Galaxy, man. Galaxy Persuasion. So Malteser, Galaxy, Snickers, whatever. Twix.
That type of food.
Just no Mars on its own.
Alright, okay. I would have probably went the other way. I'm into Whispers, I'm into Crunchies, I'm into Twirls.
Crunchies, man.
Again, as I got older, my palate's changed.
That's a horrific shout, man.
But no, I don't mind a Crunchie at all. Martin, get in touch for the Killie view. Salopi and Killie. Hi guys, another big 3 points. Cal said 2 or 3 weeks ago Aberdeen was not in it, but it's fair to say it's 1 from 4 now with Dundee only 5 clear as well. Also, were you a shooter match kind of guy? Are you too young for shooting match?
No, the Match magazine was there when shout out. Well, he's a Rangers fan anyway, but old friend Dylan Black used to have he get the Match magazine every week. Like I loved
the two of them.
A box absolutely packed it.
Aye,
but did Match then replace Shoot?
No. I think Shoot maybe just stopped earlier.
Because I'm sure that there was a character in the Match magazine called Shooty.
Right.
And I thought that was maybe some kind of nod to the predecessor.
Pepsi helping out Coca-Cola, man.
Nah, right, well, I'm talking nonsense. Bear in mind I was about 8 here.
Just a boy.
And I wasn't that much a die-hard with it, but I would maybe treat myself to one every 3 months, whereas I can't vote to go to it weekly.
I was weekly, and for years and years I was get the...
But it's very English-centric.
Both annuals and all. In fact, my Killie poster for 1997 came for Shoot. It was in the Shoot magazine when we won the cup.
Was it?
It's still up in the water, isn't it?
Well, Match Magazine was definitely like, they used to kind of like slag.
Aye. My dad still got them for like the 70s and all that. Absolute
That's
class.
cool.
13 at McKillicon. Right, the real boy day. Some free kick for Thompson, did the exact same against Hearts. Crucial point in the game, trying to hold and extend the lead. Scoreable position, out for a shy. Folks said without an ounce of satire he was our best player. Even when we were dire, he was nowhere near that. We've been class last couple of weeks and we should just celebrate how much better it's been. I just could not mention that free kick. What was he actually thinking? Aye.
Boy, they should tell us what he really thinks about DT.
Good old Dom. I would let somebody else have a go now.
Aye, got to be done.
I would let somebody else have a go. We'll leave it at that.
Killie, mate.
Killie. Gunnar Vance, most handsome man in Europe. I know there's a long way to go with twists and turns to come. However, I'd just like to say how refreshing is it to rock up and believe we've got a chance of winning a game so far removed from the last couple of months or earlier on in the season. Long may it continue. Well said. Christy Sykes. Points picked up in the last 6 games. Killie 10, Livi 4, St Mirren 4, Aberdeen 2. Can we keep up this form? And who do you want to see finish 11th?
Anyone but Killie.
Anyone but Killie, mate. If we keep up that form, mate, we'll be cruising. Cigars will be out, man. Hopesy gets in touch. Stephen Hope's not a question, guy, just an observation on Saturday. Had pre-match at the community hub. It was buzzing. The Killie Trust Club and the hotel busy. Healthy crowd makes a big difference. The team going to need every one of us to get us over the line. Lots going on that are great about the club at the minute. Very well said.
Without doubt. Well, thanks Stephen as well for his kind words regarding the match reports the last few weeks, so much appreciated, mate.
Top man he is, man. Vicky Black, hello Vicky. Great win on Saturday. My question is, do you think we can get through the remaining games unbeaten? That would have been unthinkable, but maybe not so much now. Also, my brother listens from Taiwan. He loves to hear Ayrshire accents. Nice one.
Legend.
Thanks very much, mate.
Hi to Vicky's brother.
I think we can get through unbeaten. How good would that be?
I can't see it.
No.
But again, I'm looking forward to in 3 weeks folk digging me up when we go unbeaten for 2 games.
But the very fact that it's even a slight possibility is quite an improvement, isn't it?
As
Galax
legacy, man.
Sorry son. Galax says too soon to start calling McCann daddy. We're saying to my mates I'm excited for next season already. The bones of the squad are there already. Maybe Tish will decide he wants to stay. Seems to be enjoying running the show. You think he'd made a bit of money. Good point, mate. Scotty got in touch. Normally a Killie pie and Bovril at the football, but after these pizzas at the Stadio Olimpico, what food would you like to see at Rugby Park? PS and Daba's new team are absolutely rotten. He never even got on. Time to bring him home. Forza Roma, Forza Killie. So Scotty and me, Jacob, were out at the Roma game at the weekend. Absolute class, man. What food would you like to see at Rugby Park? Galaxy Easter eggs.
Aye.
Be a good step, wouldn't it?
Banana fritters.
And banana fritters for a wee dessert. Dalen got in touch to say first half we dominated, could have killed the game off. Credit to Livi. Second half they had us a bit rattled, forcing us to make some mistakes, resulted to playing the safe pass, but with perseverance we've got the job done. Also, MDC the limp on the camera guy, he's definitely lawyering up.
I don't know. I remember. I think something happened in the Eastern side, and I remember folk being like, "Ooh," but I didn't really notice it.
No, good to hear for you though, Dalen, mate. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. Captain Colombo says 9 points from teams in our direct vicinity since McCann came in. Think we need to give credit when it's due. Felt we looked a level above Livi for the most part. If we were in 2-0, it could have been a much higher score. It's a very good point, mate. Totally agree. Gavin Hilson, he also replied during about the Aberdeen stuff.
It was Gav that raised it initially, wasn't it?
Absolutely, mate. So we've covered that, man. Thank you again. Scott says with Killie and St Mirren both winning at the weekend, do you think Aberdeen are starting to sweat? It's reminiscent of the Hibs team under Terry Butcher. Good point, mate. Sean Cowan says, so guys, I would like to go on record to say I was wrong and McCann is doing a good job. Do you think Polworth is good enough? I think he's lost his ability to shoot, and RIP to Joke Deary. I had a great chance, Polworth, and missed it, didn't he?
It's just like anybody that could have been doing with that is Polworth. But the kind of thing, like, again, if Thompson was ever to find himself in that position, it would only be they two guys that would really. You're like, come on, man, like you could be doing with some credit here. Of course, he's not like getting like he's obviously wanted to score, you know what I mean? Like, but it's one of them, even when you watch it back, he's like, you should take the shot there, and you still get time to take it.
Even 2 or 3 chances, you're going right, no, and then dilly-dallies.
Because again, I was right in line with it, and I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, it was, because that would have been comfortable. And again, showing the good side of these games, like at times that we spoke about the first season back up, where he ends up coming out of nowhere when he gets shipped to Dunfermline 6 months before. And he's like good at like leading the press at times. For somebody at times getting a bit of criticism for no doing an awful lot off the ball, or perhaps folks suggesting that he hides, but does the hard work to get into that position to make the chance, to then get that, you're just side fit it, man. Even if the goalie saves it, you'd still get criticism, but more so than than letting a chance like that get away unpunished.
Well, Harper says it's time to admit Poworth is rotten. He flatters to deceive. Other than that, small complaint. I'm chuffed with the U-turn. I told you McCann was the answer, and I met Harper. He drove away quite cool the way he went away in his motorbike. I was like, that's quite cool the way he's done that there. See you later, mate. And I went, oh, all right, I wish I could do that. I've not got the bottle. Kevin said post-split I reckon we'll get the short straw, 2 home, 3 away. My ideal opponents at Rugby Park would be St Mirren and Aberdeen.
I just don't
think we'll get that, mate, but it's a good point. Scott Garrick says, more of an observation than a question. Seemed like an improved crowd on Saturday. Not sure if it was the free tickets, but busier. And the home end, certainly. Absolutely, mate. FM81, if we had Roos, Brandon, Tish, John Jules and Hugo all season, where would we have finished?
Top.
I think we would have been the Falkirk, I think. All them. And that's the plan next season, mate. Kenny the Kilt, hello, mate. Huge improvement from Robbie Dees. Proper nonsense defending. Looks more centre half. Looks more solid with Brandon, Stanger and Larson alongside. Absolutely, mate. And Taylor Day got in touch. Very pleased. We've got 2 wins in a row and back on form. Thanks to the land of the Prince Bishops, Hugo, and Gateway to the Highlands, Curtis, with their respective goals. Unbelievable nicknames. McCann's current formation is working. We keep that for future matches. We're going to be absolutely fine.
Wee Taylor, man. Love it.
Lovely stuff. Right, mate, we've got a couple of wee announcements to make.
Yes, mate.
Before we wrap things up.
A great cause to kick us off.
Absolutely, man. So we got in touch. Somebody got in touch, a big Killie fan, Blair and Ross Lockhart, who are trying to raise a wee bit of money. So I'm just going to read this verbatim here, right? So on the 10th of April, 2 brothers are taking on a huge challenge, walking the 45 miles from the Falkirk Wheel all the way to Rugby Park for the Dundee game. They'll be setting off around lunchtime and walking right through the night, aiming to arrive the next day in time to cheer on Killie. Now, this just isn't a challenge for the sake of it. The walk has been done in honour of their dad, Stephen Lockhart. Since they can remember, he's been taking them to Rugby Park for nearly 25 years. They made that journey from Falkirk to Kilmarnock together, following the same route to support the team. This time, instead of making the trip by car, they're doing it on foot, and every single mile they're doing it to raise money for 2 incredible charities, Strathcarron Hospice and the Ayrshire Hospice. Both organisations doing amazing work supporting families through the toughest moments in life, providing care and compassion and dignity when it's needed most. So the plan is simple but seriously thought through. Set off from the Falkirk Wheel, walk through the evening, through the night, and keep going until they reach Rugby Park the next day. 45 miles later, with some very sore feet, they'll arrive just in time to take their seats and cheer on Killie. A brilliant challenge and really meaningful way to honour their dad while raising money for 2 charities that make a huge difference to so many families. So if you can, please consider supporting them, donating or sharing the story. Every bit of help will mean the world to them as they take on their walk. So that is a magnificent thing to be doing, and if we can support that in any way, it would be appreciated.
Aye, so I'm sure that Blair initially put that out a couple of months ago for the build up for the Dundee game. So it must be heartbreaking to lose your dad with that, especially that with the journey that the 3 of them would have made together for all the years. And again, just great to hear as well, like, we've got fans that neck of the woods, and they're doing it at Rugby Park all the time, and how tough that must be to lose their major influence like that. But what a tribute to their old man. And again, if folk can go and support that, it would be top class. And you'd like to think as well that maybe the club can help them out with something there, and a wee bit of acknowledgement for that, because that's it's some journey, and I hope that they'll get I'm sure they'll get a resounding applause with their way through
they absolutely will
gates, man.
And I will put out all the ways to donate to that and stuff on your socials and stuff, so we'll make sure that's it. But that's class, boys, and thanks so much for messaging. And as I was saying, if anybody's got anything like that they want us to shine a wee bit of light on, we're more than happy to do it, so just get in touch. On that front, the Killie Beer Festival's back on May the 30th. A friend of the pod, Fraser Wilson's obviously one of the brains behind that. They're showing the Fitbit at Anonu, the Scotland Curaçao game, out on the big screen, so we're hoping for a bit of sunshine. And this year, specifically for that, they've got the Sir Steve Clarke Lager that's going to be there specifically for that. Again, we'll probably do a wee giveaway for that, some competition, either on here or on the Patreon for tickets to give away. But Saturday the 30th of May, it's the Kilmarnock Beer Festival at Rugby Park. Get yourself along. We were there last year, it was great fun. It's your brother's birthday that day, so we'll not be able to make it this year. But aye, absolutely brilliant. And again, chance to sample the Sir Steve Clarke Lager. So there we go.
He's now the ultimate alky, man.
Well,
to get booze named after him.
That's it, mate.
I really want to try it though.
Thrilled to bits with that, and and as a special wee bonus, the 1 o'clock kickoff and the World Cup warm up is there too. So I get along to that, and again, all the social media channels, they're on Instagram. The Kilmarnock Beer Festival, just fire it in and get yourself a ticket because it is a brilliant day, and Fraser's a top guy. Right, we'll do the
All Roads,
and then we'll get the hell out of here.
Aye, that's it, man. Because we've ran over this week.
We've ran over again.
And again, just off the back of what Robert sent in, it was great to see the amount of Easter eggs that they'd collected last week, Killie Food Banks. And again, we raise money for them every week, and just to give them the credit, they're there all the time, and the work that they do is phenomenal. And so let's hope we can raise a few more quid.
Very well said, son. Right, okay, here we go. All roads lead to Killie. This is our ex-Killie player's career path. Cal's got to guess who it is. Toulouse, Rodez, E37, US Albi, Kilmarnock, Beauvais, Moulin, Rodez.
That's a tough one, man. Is that a Belgian club at the end there? Huh?
I don't know who Rodez are. I would guess French.
Era? Well, French, obviously.
2007 to 2009, played 5 games.
Oh, that's a longer period. For when?
2007 to 2009, played 5 games.
Oh,
Toulouse, Rodez, Brive, Albi, Beauvais, Moulin, Rodez.
I genuinely don't know.
He's a goalkeeper.
Oh, Damien Rascal.
Damien Rascal.
Aye, Damien Rascal.
Very well done, son. Right, next one.
I was genuinely panicking.
Listen,
there.
it's no worth panicking now.
Nah.
Right, the next one is AC Milan.
Wullie Aubbbbbbbameyang.
What?
Wullie Aubbbbbbbameyang. Aubameyang.
Now's the time to panic.
Because see the reason I've it's not even him, is it?
It's him,
it's him. Because I remember that because before his brother was as famous at that point, nobody could ever pronounce his name, whereas after his brother's exploits at Arsenal,
now everybody can say Aubameyang. AC Milan, Avellino, Eupen, Monza, Killie, Sapin, Saint-Etienne 2 and Cray.
Scored in Eremenko's farewell game.
There you go, 15 caps for Gabon, no goals. Right, and the last one is Kaduna United, Enyimba International, the Kano Pillars, Kilmarnock, Wassland Beveren, Boa Vista, AS Trenchant, Coops, Najran, Abba. So when you need me, call Al Faya, Al Ain, Shabab Sahil.
Era.
Played for Killie in 2013, 2014, played 3 games.
And there's British team in there?
No, God, no, man.
2013, 14, 3 games.
12 caps for his country.
Oh, is he Nigerian?
He is.
So it's no Papa Idris. It's Ruben Gabriel.
It's Ruben Gabriel,
mate. Missed his trial with Spurs, man.
Aye, never played for Spurs. He could be doing with him now because Spurs are in big trouble, man. Right, okay, that'll do us. No game to preview this weekend, obviously, but watch the Scotland if you can, and then we'll be all eyes on Easter Road for a wee trip up to Das Kapital.
Look forward to it.
But thank you very much for your company, everybody. We appreciate all your questions and all your interest. It's always very welcome. And like you say, if you've got something you want to highlight, you let us know and we'll do it. Simple as that. Thanks for your company, man.
Thank you.
And we'll catch everybody next Monday to preview Hibs. Have a nice week. See you later.